Today I'm going to tell you the story of my diagnosis and how I reversed my worst multiple sclerosis symptoms naturally, simply, and easily. Here we go.
Adriana Banana.
I used to love chicken fingers and fries when I was a little kid. That was my favorite meal at every restaurant I went to. I wanted chicken fingers and fries. I also loved pizza. I loved chocolate. I loved candy. I loved all of the wonderful junk foods out there. Chips, McDonald's. As I got older, I really liked drinking a lot of alcohol. I liked getting into the drugs that all my friends were getting into. I took all the jabberoonies as a kid because I was told that was the right thing to do. I was told that it was okay to eat these foods in moderation. But because I was so, at the time I was so lean and slim, and I felt like I was fit because my dad always emphasized exercise for my brother and I. So we played a ton of tennis. We were always exercising in some way. We did taekwondo. I got my black belt, so watch out everybody, I'm a fruit ninja. Anyways, I was always very fit as a kid and as a teenager, as I was growing up. So I kind of thought, I'm a little untouchable. It doesn't really matter what I put into my body because look at how healthy and fit I am. One day I was at work at my I think one of my first jobs. I was a waitress at a restaurant where I was wearing high heels for the entire shift. And so I had this tingle down the back of my spine. It was really strange. Every time I would look down, I would get this tingle down my spine. And at first I kind of thought it like, oh, you know what? I probably just wearing heels all evening, come on, like, of course, whatever, no problem. And then it just persisted. Even after I got fired from that job, it persisted. When I went to go see doctors about it, they just kind of brushed it off. I looked healthy and everything. So they were like, it's probably nothing. You probably just pulled something. I don't know, like whatever. They just didn't really seem to care because I looked so healthy. And so I thought, okay, maybe they're right. But then one day I woke up and one half of my body, the right side of my body, my right arm and my right leg were completely heavy like sandbags. And I could barely move them. I was so terrified. I remember feeling like I was in a horror movie. And so I called my parents and they came and they brought me to the hospital. And at the hospital, they just kind of sent me away. They did a couple of tests and they said, no, you're fine. It's not MS. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I was like, I don't know what that is anyways, so whatever. Went home, told that I was fine. So I said, okay, guess I'm fine. Just a little FYI to anybody who's wondering what happened to your symptoms that you were just talking about. Did they ever go away? Yes, the heaviness feelings in my right side, they did clear up throughout that day. Just little FYI. So they didn't last. I kept on doing what I was doing from before. I kept drinking alcohol. I kept on eating the junk food, along with like the other standard Canadian diet type foods that I grew up with. All those weird snack puddings and cereals wrapped in cardboard boxes and plastic and just weird shit. Okay. Bread, tons of bread. Oh my God, I used to eat so much bread. I started drinking coffee and all this. But then one day, I just thought, okay, I'm going to go see a different doctor. I'm going to get a second opinion. So I got a second opinion and the doctor was like, you know what? You might as well get an MRI scan just to rule out MS. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got the MRI scan done. And if you ever had an MRI scan done before, it's kind of like being put into a rocket ship that's horizontal. If you're a flat earther, they're going to fly you past Antarctica and into the abyss. Are you a flat earther? I don't know. I know so many raw vegans that are flat earthers and I'm just like, I don't know what's real anymore. Maybe we live on a fucking pyramid. Maybe we live in an octagon. I don't know. Who knows these days? There's so many conspiracies that I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. Let's get back on track here. So I'm in this tube and I have to stay super still and I'm in there for 40 minutes, not allowed to move. And I was like, okay, challenge accepted. I'm a meditator. I got this. I did really well. Gosh. My doctor gets back to me after the MRI and she's like, you got to come down to my office. I was like, okay. Got there and she broke the news to me. She said, unfortunately, your scan is consistent with multiple sclerosis. I know this probably seems really unfair. I saw her speaking gibberish after that. I could not understand what she was saying because I was so in shock. And when she stopped talking, I asked her kindly to let me be in that doctor's office alone for a while. And so she said, okay. So she left the doctor's office. I'm in there by myself in this room, this white box, and I start crying. But then all of a sudden, it's like this whoosh of energy came over, this rush of God. I don't know what it was, but I knew everything was going to be okay. I looked at the white wall in front of me and I said, I'm going to be okay. I am going to heal. And I knew in that moment, like, this wasn't one of those moments of like, I hope. No. This was a knowing. There's a difference between hoping and knowing. And for me, this was a knowing. I knew I was going to heal myself. And so I walk out of the doctor's office all confident. I'm like, oh yay, I have an MS diagnosis. I get to go heal this now. And I was actually excited, which is, I feel like I must have been born with a brain cell missing or something, because or maybe I was born with like a blessing from God, like this confidence in this innate intelligence in my body. I knew. I was like, there has to be a way. I know my body can heal itself. And so I get into the car and my mom's like, so what happened? I'm like, well, I've got MS. And she's like, oh my God. She starts crying and I'm like, Mom, I'm going to heal myself. And she was like, okay. And I told my dad and my brother and they were like, oh my God. And I was like, no, I'm going to heal myself. And, I was so confident that my dad looks at me and he's like, Adriana, I believe you. He's from Romania. So I start off on this trajectory of healing. And the first place that I went to was this idea of mind over medicine, the mind-body connection. I knew that my mind had a huge role in this. And so, number one, I believed that I could heal. And the second thing was that I had just started veganism. And from what I'd learned, being a vegan was an extremely healthy diet. So I was like, well, I'm vegan and I'm going to use the mind-body connection. I've got this in the bag. So I'm like vegan, still eating Oreos, drinking alcohol, drinking coffee, eating processed vegan junk food, eating the processed meats and all that good stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to heal myself. Funny. You can eat an extremely unhealthy vegan diet. It is possible, and I did it. About 4 years into the diagnosis, I'm like cruising. I'm like, yeah, everything's fine, except for the fact that I was bloated constantly, constant fatigue, drinking probably about 4 cups of coffee a day. Yeah, acne, all those things that, your body's trying to tell you, like, hey, something's up. But I was like, nah, it's fine. 2020 rolls around. And I have my own personal pandemic, except it wasn't a plan. And I woke up one day and the bottoms of my feet were kind of numb and tingly. And I was like, Tree, excuse me, I'm filming a video. Thank you. You can be here, but just chill, okay? The bottoms of my feet are tingly and numb. And I was a little freaked out. Like, what the heck is going on? Okay, maybe this will pass. No. Over the course of that week, this tingles and numbness slowly and insidiously spread up through my feet, into my ankles, into my shins, into my knees, thighs, groin, butthole. Speaking of buttholes, did you know that the tighter the butthole, the sweeter the fruit? That's right. So when you are picking out a watermelon the next time, make sure that watermelon has a real tight butthole. I know this is supposed to be a serious video. Hi, this is Adrienne in the editing process if you didn't recognize me. Hi. I know, we look so different. But I couldn't resist the opportunity to give you some watermelon education and also to make it kind of funny and talk about buttholes. Anyways, am I allowed to say that? I don't know, is that a sweat? No, it's fine. It's a body part. Okay, anyways, getting back to the super serious symptoms I was having, here we go. So my entire lower half was about 90% numb. I could still walk, but the feeling was it seemed almost completely lost. I had tingles and numbness in my fingers as well and kind of like twitching in my face. I was freaking out. I don't think I've ever had such a massive mental breakdown in my entire life. I was so scared. I really started to slip into the mindset of, oh my gosh, what if I end up in a wheelchair? I was actually so scared. I was starting to lose that confidence in that initial conviction that I had that I was going to heal myself. I thought, what if I'm not that powerful? What if I can't do it? What if I'm delusional? But there was something in me that just knew there has to be a way. I must be missing something here. And so I started going down rabbit holes. And I do love rabbits and holes. Wait, what?
butthole.
I start going down the rabbit hole of food and nutrition because I noticed I was eating a lot of junk food. I was eating a lot of vegan junk food. So I came across a woman named Pam Bertha, I think her name is. And she's not a vegan. She was doing kind of a paleo keto diet thing. And she healed her MS. And I was like, whoa, I got to look into this. And so she was eating lots of vegetables, tons of greens, and lots of meat and high fat stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do the vegan version of this. So I did kind of like a vegan ketogenic diet. And it sucked. I lost a whole bunch of weight. I'm 5'7". I was around 99 pounds. And I felt even worse. All of my symptoms got worse. And eventually my mom and dad were like, you are looking really skinny and it's a little scary. You need to stop doing whatever you're doing. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to change something. And to my chagrin and hardcore resistance, I agreed. Then I found medical medium. Well, actually, I already knew about medical medium. I got more into medical medium stuff. And basically what that means is I started eating more fruits and vegetables. Started incorporating more into my diet. I got rid of gluten. I got rid of some of the processed junk food, not all of it. I didn't feel ready for that yet, but I was doing a lot more fruits and vegetables, and I still held on to the coffee and alcohol and, sometimes takeout and stuff like that. So I slowly got better, which was very encouraging. But then intermittently I would have, I think it was my right eye would go almost basically completely blind for about a week. And that was terrifying to lose vision in one of my eyes. And then it happened the year after that. Same thing. And at this point, I was still kind of dabbling in medical medium. I wasn't fully into it. So I realized I need to go further into this. This is not cutting it. So I eventually quit coffee altogether. And the day after quitting coffee, I felt like I got hit by a freaking truck, man. Like I was in bed for about a day and a half. And then after that, I felt great. I was eating a lot more fruits and vegetables. In fact, around that time, I also decided to quit drinking alcohol. And I decided to only eat fruits and vegetables exclusively, even cooked vegetables. At that time, I was still eating cooked vegetables like potatoes, and I was like full on medical medium diet. I was doing celery juice as well. And I was getting so much better. Like this was like better than I had felt in all that time that I had gotten so sick. And I was like, okay, something's working. My skin was clear. I was like, wow, this is going really well. And then all of a sudden, this one time, I don't know why I did it. I think I was influenced by a medical medium, but I did a banana cleanse. And I was like, whoa, so banana cleanse, just for anybody who doesn't know, I was eating just bananas and drinking celery juice in the morning and maybe a little bit of lettuce. And so basically I was a raw vegan without realizing it. And I was feeling so much better. Like the tingles and numbness reduced dramatically. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then came the moment that changed absolutely everything. I watched a video on YouTube entitled The Curious Case of the Fruit-Eating Man by a glorious human, a glorious man named Eli Martyr. Eli talks about his journey into fruitarianism in this video, and he talks about everything to do with fruitarianism and why it makes sense. And for me, that video made so much freaking sense, y'all. That video is amazing. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it after you watch my video today. Because of that, I stumbled across a woman on YouTube named Rebecca Rosenberg. She's not on YouTube anymore, but she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and she had it really bad. She was bedridden and everything. And she went on a fruitarian diet, completely fruitarian diet, and her multiple sclerosis went away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this too. I know I can do this. This sounds so good to me. It makes so much sense. Fruitarianism is the thing. Like it makes complete sense to me. What am I doing? And then I eventually discovered the 80-10-10 diet by Dr. Douglas Graham as well. So I listened to his book and then I read it. And after reading, can you just chill out? After reading it, I was sold. If you haven't learned about Doug's discussion in that book about the species-specific diet, it is so worth reading. And in fact, I actually made a video about this exact thing, the species-specific diet explained. I'll link that video in the description box below. pretty much overnight, I went raw vegan. I think I had like a potato and like a squash left, so I ate those. So I was like, okay, I'll eat them. I don't want to waste them. So after I went raw vegan, it took like probably less than a week, and I already started experiencing amazing changes. Like my digestion improved dramatically. I had so much more energy, and I also, my skin was beautiful. My skin was just glowing, and holy moly! And the biggest thing was that my neurological symptoms dropped dramatically. I felt so much better. I could run again. I had about 90% of my feeling back, and basically I got my life back, which is like, what else can you ask for, honestly? I got my freaking life back, y'all. Now I do yoga, I go for runs, I can run a 5K no problem, I go for bike rides almost every single day. I bike all the way to the supermarket and back, which is like a 40-minute bike ride, and I have no problem with that. I have so much energy, my digestion's amazing, my skin's clear, and I just keep getting better and better. That's the story in a nutshell. I'm telling you this story today because this is important news, because so many people are suffering out there right now. Right now, people have MS. Right now, people have autoimmune, and they don't know what to do, or they think that their hands are tied and there's nothing they can do. But I'm telling you right now, from my experience, you can do a whole lot. You can change your destiny. I changed my destiny. If I can do it, you can do it too. There's no difference between you and I. I'm a human, you're a human. Yes, we come from different backgrounds, different stories, but that doesn't change the fact that we are the same species. The species-specific diet, our human diet, is the diet that I am espousing, the fruitarian, raw vegan diet. This is a human-specific diet. If you're unfamiliar with the species-specific diet idea, please take the time to watch my video entitled The Species-Specific Diet Explained. I linked it in the description box. If you also just don't know what to do with this, you're like, I don't even know where to start. I want to try it, but I don't know where to start. It would be so helpful, and I highly, highly recommend that you join my school group called Beyond MS. This is a group for anybody who's trying a fruitarian or raw vegan or even high fruit vegan diet in order to deal with multiple sclerosis or autoimmune symptoms and conditions. This is a great place to start because it's not just me on there. It's my community of people who are going through a similar thing as you, where you can ask any question you like on the question page. You can join our Q&A calls, ask your questions live. We have challenges, all sorts of things happen on the group. Sometimes I upload recipes. It's completely free. I should put that out there too. It's totally free. So join that right now in the description box. It makes me so sad to see people out there suffering with these needless conditions like multiple sclerosis, like MS. I don't know if you can hear the dog, but he agrees with me. And again, this is my anecdotal experience. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I cannot guarantee anything. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what to do. Don't take my word for it. Try it out if you want to. What have you got to lose, my friends? MS is what you've got to lose. And okay, worst case scenario, you try it, you hate it, you stop eating fruits and vegetables. Like, it's fruits and vegetables. It's fruits and freaking vegetables. I'm not saying take this poison unless you're drinking the pesticides instead of the fruit. I don't know. Please remember that your body wants to heal and that your body is self-healing. When you get a cut, your body heals it for you. Your body is designed to heal. There is an innate intelligence in our bodies as humans, as all animals have this, to heal themselves. When you give your body the right conditions, the right environment, the right nourishment, all of that, the right thoughts, your body can heal. My friends, I hope that you take this message today to heart and that you consider what you're putting into your body, what you're putting into your mind. Please share this with somebody who needs to hear it. Like this video so that the algorithm will see that you want more like this, not just from me, other people who are espousing similar ideas that could help you and so many other people in so many ways. Keep on rocking in the fruit world, my friends. I love you. Bye.